how has your understanding of Rudolf Steiner's conception of the 12 senses influenced the way you see the natural world? And again, that's assuming you've been exposed to the ideas of his 12 senses.
Mm. Yes, again, it's interesting because you see, when you speak about the 12 senses, it's very interesting because, yes, Steiner has described, I think actually on some occasions he described 10, but it's like, but yes, he has described the 12 senses. Now, from his perception, he sees the spiritual reality of 12 senses. And if I'm describing how Steiner pictures our relationship to everything around us, I can say he speaks of 12 senses. That's what he does. But as soon as I say to someone, let's explore the 12 senses, I'm in a way casting a cloak around myself as that the 12 senses are true, and there are 12 senses. That is how it is. Now, I struggle to understand what Rudolf Steiner describes as some of those senses. I completely respect that are 12, and it certainly makes an intriguing relationship to numbers and to other patterns of the zodiac and all that. It all is just, a rich picture. But I have to say that some of those senses I find difficulty in understanding in myself. But as far as relating to normal conventional scientific mainstream science over the senses, it's absurd to continue with this idea that we have 5 senses. This is a kind of sclerotic kind of knowledge that comes down to us. And definitely, often you read in books, the 5 senses.
Yes.
And the agenda there is not, if you like, Steiner's agenda of a spiritual world, but there's the agenda of materialism that says we will not allow you to have more than these 5 senses.
Yeah.
You're going to be stuck with those, and I'm not hearing of any others. But actually, quietly, science is discovering an amazing number of senses. Our immune system, I won't go back, I promise I won't go back into the subject, but our immune system is a biological sense system. Sense is the alien protein. There you have an exquisite sense system. Sense of inner balance, sense of the way in which our limbs are in space. We can know they're there by shutting our eyes, but there are some people who lose that, and they don't know where their hand is. If it's not in sight, they absolutely don't know where it's gone.
Wow.
They have no sense of where it's gone. Extraordinary condition. They can't find their hands unless they have to actually reach for them, pull them round, and then they see them, and then they can connect and use them. That's rather exaggerated and crudely put, but give an illustration how the nature of our senses. And as for the sense of being looked at, Rupert Sheldrake is a wonderful protagonist, I think, of mainstream science, because he experiments. So he says, can we be aware of other people looking at us? Can dogs be aware of when their owners are thinking of them? Come to your little pussycat, you could do an experiment on Rupert Sheldrake. You look up Rupert Sheldrake's website. Rupert Sheldrake. And then yes.
The sense of being looked at, because I don't know if Steiner's mentioned that one.
Oh no, Rupert Sheldrake lived way after Steiner. He's quite an older man now. He's a little bit older than myself, but yes, look up Rupert Sheldrake, his website, and you'll see here's the protagonist of all materialistic scientists. When Richard Dawkins wrote a book called The God Delusion, or was it Illusion? I'm not quite sure. Rupert Sheldrake wrote a book called The Science Delusion. And showed very clearly the way in which science has become rapidly has become, for someone like Dawkins, a belief system. Dawkins's approach to Darwin is religion, basically. He is deeply religious. He believes there is no God. There can't be a deeper religion than that. Atheism is one of the most powerful religions going, really. The belief in nothing beyond the material is a very deep belief, and Sheldrake exposes that. How do I get to this now? I've strayed off.
That's okay.
I've strayed off the, what's it called? Straight off the script.
The 12 senses. However, I'm going
12 senses anyway.
Yeah.
Yes, the idea that there are many more senses, that awakens us. It gives us a new thinking on how we experience the world. And we must always add the sense of humor, which Steiner included in a great wooden statue that he carved with the help of others. A great statue. And in the top left-hand corner, there's the spirit of humor.
Ah, yes.
And that hovers over the most profound expression of his deeply perceived, deep perception of the spiritual reality of the human condition. And he put this little spirit of humor there in the corner. And that says something very important for me in Steiner's humanity, when you come back to the word humanity.
Was it engraved?
Humanity. Carved in the corner there.
Carved in the corner of this wooden statue. What was the statue?
Right. Top left-hand corner.
Do you know what the statue was?
Yes, it's a very significant expression of Steiner's whole picture of the evolution of the earth.
So is it a
It leaves the human being held between two enormous extremes, one which would draw us away from being human and say, really, there are the most wonderful things that you can explore and design and create, and the other which says the earth is the only place that's real. Make it comfortable and exploit it. So one is ready to lift off the earth and say, we are all beautiful beings and we can have a most wonderful life of happiness and joy. And the other is that the earth is the only place to be. And between these two forces, Steiner carves both the forces and also this being who is a kind of representative of humanity, which holds these two, which are not evil, but they need to be held in their place, because we need the inspiration that gives us joy, and we need the practical technology that makes us safe as physical beings. But as soon as we see one only, then we move towards what eventually is evil. If we hold these two at bay, we become conscious of them, we become human. And then in the power of this humanity that Steiner carves, there is this little figure he puts at the top that looks down on this whole scene. People say, what is that? What is that being in the corner? That's the spirit of humor. We have that polarity all the time, Yeah. We want to go on holiday. Oh, how exciting. Where can we go? Inspiration. And the reality is, how much money do we have? Do we have transport to get there? And does my suitcase lock work, or will my clothes fall out? It's right down in the reality too. We need both those together to achieve our goals.